Stop right now. In this exact second, something is happening inside you that your conscious mind cannot track. You believe you are simply looking at a screen. You believe this choice is yours. You believe you are in control. But neurobiology and depth psychology tell a very different story. Your decision was already made about 300 milliseconds before you became aware of wanting it. This is not philosophy. This is how the brain works.
The eyes are not just optical tools. They are the only part of the brain that exists outside the skull. When you look into someone's eyes, you are not looking at a face. You are looking at exposed neural tissue, a direct channel into the limbic system, the place where your oldest fears live, where suppressed aggression hides, where unrealized genius sleeps, where sexuality is stored long before words ever touched it.
Carl Jung called moments like this synchronicity, a point in time where your inner psychological state perfectly aligns with an external image. You cannot choose something that does not already exist within you. If you are drawn to fire, it means you are burning or longing to burn. If you are drawn to the abyss, it means you carry darkness that is searching for an exit.
Before you are 4 eyes of fate, 4 fundamental archetypes of the human unconscious. This is not a horoscope, not a random image pulled from the internet. This is a diagnostic test that reveals your core psychological settings. Settings formed long before you learned how to speak, before you learned how to lie, before you learned who you were supposed to be. We will not talk about surface-level personality traits. We are going where most people are afraid to look. We will examine your shadow, your trauma that became your superpower, and your unique way of loving and destroying.
If you have been searching for answers about who you really are, subscribe now. What you are about to discover will change how you see yourself forever. Look at them carefully. The first is the eye of flame. The second is the eye of light. The third is the eye of the abyss. The fourth is the eye of crystal. One of them feels more alive to you right now, as if it is looking back.
If you chose the eye of flame, prepare yourself. What you are about to hear may trigger resistance, because we are going to touch the parts of your psyche that you have mistaken for normal. In reality, these are survival mechanisms. Your brain runs on a dopamine-driven drive system. This means your nervous system requires constant escalation. Higher stakes, more intensity, bigger challenges. A slow, steady life, what society calls stability, feels to your body like a slow death.
You belong to a hyperthymic personality type. Your energy does not flow like a calm river. It erupts in geysers. In your God phase, you can work 18 to 20 hours a day, sleep 4 hours, generate ideas at a frightening speed. But this is always followed by the ash phase, where you feel empty, exhausted, worthless. Your biggest mistake is trying to cure the crash by forcing more effort. But your crash is not a disease. It is a reactor cool-down. Your superpower is vitality. You are a donor of life force. People forgive your volatility because around you they feel more alive.
The shadow, the demon of destruction. Your shadow is narcissistic rage and a deep fear of insignificance. At your core lives a panic-level terror of being ordinary. For you, becoming like everyone else is an existential catastrophe. Because of this, you fall into the trap of all or nothing perfectionism. If it cannot be grand, you do nothing at all. Your aggression is a defense against vulnerability. You ignite instantly when you feel undervalued or ignored. For the eye of flame, being ignored is the cruelest punishment. You are prone to self-destruction through excess. You live by the rule everything. Fire does not grow in greenhouse conditions. This psychotype usually forms in one of two childhood scenarios. In the first, there was a lack of warmth at home. The child unconsciously decided, to be loved, I must be bright. You became an emotional battery for your parents, trying to heat them with your energy. In the second scenario, the home was chaotic and competitive. Your psyche learned one rule: the loudest and fastest survives.
In love, you are a kamikaze. Your fire searches for fuel, and paradoxically, you are drawn to cold. You repeatedly choose emotionally avoidant partners because your ego whispers, I will warm them. My love will change them. It will not. You flood your partner with warmth, and when the return is not equal, you collapse into rage or depression. Your task is to stop being a parent and a rescuer. You need a partner who is air, someone who feeds your flame without burning alive.
Money is energy to you. The moment you start under-investing in yourself out of fear, your income drops. Your financial capacity expands only through expansion, raising your standard of normal, taking calculated risks, entering new projects. Routine jobs with rigid schedules are poison to you. You thrive in launches, entrepreneurship, creative ventures, anywhere there is play, risk, and adrenaline.
You chose the eye of flame because you are standing on the edge of transformation. Your old skin has become too tight. Your survival strategies no longer generate energy. Your fire demands new fuel. Do not fear your anger. It is energy for a breakthrough. Do not fear your ambition. It is your compass. Your mission is to be a catalyst, to ignite frozen systems from the inside. Shine even if it burns someone's eyes. But wait, there is something even deeper about the eye of flame that I have not revealed yet. Something that explains why you have been stuck in cycles you cannot break. We will return to this.
If your choice was the eye of light, do not be deceived by its apparent softness. This is the most difficult archetype to carry. You are a person without skin, an exposed nerve. Your brain has an unusually developed system of mirror neurons. You do not merely understand what others feel. You physically experience their emotional states as your own. You walk into a room where people argued recently, and your body reacts. Nausea, pressure in your head, sudden fatigue. You are not imagining this. You are reading the emotional field.
Your thinking type is intuitive and ethical. You know things without evidence. You know when someone is lying. You know when a situation is wrong. Your problem is not intuition. Your problem is that you ignore it. Later, you tell yourself, I knew it from the beginning.
Your shadow is dangerous because it disguises itself as virtue. Its names are passive aggression and spiritual pride. Because you forbid yourself open anger, your rage goes underground. You can endure for years, storing nuclear waste of resentment. Then the explosion comes. You disappear. You sabotage relationships. Or your body turns against itself through illness. Your spiritual pride whispers, I suffer more because I am deeper, kinder, better. This belief keeps you trapped. It justifies endurance instead of change. Most likely, you were the convenient child. You were your mother's emotional support. A silent therapist in a small body. From an early age, you felt responsible for the emotional climate of the house. If your parent cried, you felt guilt. You learned to read moods to survive. To be loved, you amputated your inconvenient parts. Your core trauma is fusion. You became so skilled at sensing others that you forgot who you are.
In love, you seek total merging. It sounds poetic. In reality, it leads to codependency. You attract narcissists because you are perfect nourishment. You excuse cruelty with childhood trauma. You see light in people, even when it is long gone. You fall in love with the image of a person, ignoring the reality where they hurt you. Your lesson in love is to grow teeth. Light without teeth is not holiness, it is food. True spirituality is the ability to say no.
Your financial block is guilt. Somewhere deep inside lives the belief that money is dirty. Here is the truth. The more money you have, the more light you can channel into the world. Your fulfillment lies in human to human and human to meaning fields. Psychology, medicine, teaching, art, mentorship. You cannot win in brutal competition. It will destroy you. People pay you not for time, but for clarity and calm. Monetize your wisdom, not your exhaustion.
You chose the eye of light because your hibernation period is over. You stayed in the shadows too long, afraid your light would blind someone. Your mission is to be a mirror of truth, but the mirror must be clean. Right now, you need an information detox. Remove excess noise. Remove unnecessary people. In silence, you will hear your own voice again.
If you chose the eye of the abyss, the black eye with the cosmic vortex, this is the path of the observer, the one who sees in darkness. This gaze was called the eye of night. It is not about evil. It is about vision where others are blind. This is the rarest archetype. Most people unconsciously avoid this image because it awakens fear of the unknown. Your nervous system is calibrated to read micro signals. You notice what others miss: a fleeting facial twitch, a shift in tone, a change in the emotional pressure of a room. Your brain processes information volumetrically. Often you know the outcome of a situation before it begins. This is not mysticism. It is an extremely high-speed pattern recognition system. You live in a mode of deep immersion. Small talk exhausts you because you crave essence, not packaging.
Your shadow manifests as cold superiority and cynicism. Because you see through human flaws so clearly, you build an ice wall. You begin to view people as predictable biological mass. The second face of your shadow is depressive episodes. For the eye of the abyss, depression is often not pathology. It is a deep system reboot. But you fear this state. You label yourself broken. You disappear from life instead of allowing the descent. You are an old soul. Your childhood likely carried weight or secrecy, hidden family drama, emotional instability. You had to grow up at 5 years old. You learned to scan adults for danger. You learned to keep secrets. Your core trauma is the loss of basic trust in the world. You expect betrayal. You never trust completely, not even yourself.
For you, love and sexuality are inseparable from soul penetration. A body without intellect does not excite you. Your problem is hyper-control and emotional closure. You can live with someone for years without allowing them into your true depths, fearing that if they see your darkness, they will leave. You attract light, playful partners who try to entertain you. They irritate you. You need someone who is not afraid of darkness.
Your money lies in shadow niches and deep expertise. You are not built for conveyor belt work. Your path leads through crisis management, psychology, security, investigation, ethics, or esoteric fields where hidden structures must be revealed. You are the gray cardinal. You influence from the shadows. Your advice is expensive because you see causes, not symptoms.
You chose the eye of the abyss because it is time to stop fearing your power. Stop pretending to be normal. You are not normal. You are deep water. Your mission is to be a guide. You can lead others through their darkest nights and transform pain into wisdom. The world is destabilizing. It needs people like you. Accept your darkness. That is where your greatest treasures are hidden. Like and subscribe now, because what comes next reveals the hidden pattern connecting all 4 archetypes. The pattern that explains your entire life.
If you were drawn to the eye of crystal, cold, electric, geometrically precise, this is the choice of the strategist and the higher mind. Jung associated this archetype with logos, the structuring principle of the universe. You are here to organize chaos. Your prefrontal cortex dominates. You perceive reality through logic, data, systems, and models. Emotions register as noise, bugs in the code that interfere with efficiency. Your mind is sharp and surgical. You learn instantly. You detect inefficiency where others see normal. You likely have a high intelligence and a very low tolerance for irrationality. Slowness, illogic, and emotional chaos provoke physical irritation. You experience the world as a matrix, and you want to hack it. Your shadow is emotional cruelty and detachment. In pursuit of truth, you cut without anesthesia, unaware that others are bleeding. The second trap is paralysis through perfectionism. You are so afraid of making an error that you can spend years planning without acting. You live in your head, disconnected from your body.
You were often a parental project. You were loved not for being, but for achieving. Grades, medals, wins. You internalized a brutal rule. Love must be earned. If you are not the best, you are unnecessary. This creates a relentless inner critic that never shuts up. Even when you succeed, you do not celebrate.
you immediately search for the next peak. Your nervous system forgot how to enjoy life. You love intellectually. For you, intelligence is the most erotic organ. You seek an equal, an ally to build an empire with. Your problem is that you try to algorithmatize love. When a partner behaves irrationally, you react with anger. You solve problems, you provide, you generate income, and you genuinely do not understand why your partner feels emotionally neglected. Your lesson is descent from head to heart. Vulnerability terrifies you because it cannot be controlled, but without it, intimacy cannot exist. You are a natural architect of systems. Your wealth lives in scale, technology, finance, science. You should not work with your hands. You should work with frameworks. Your path to wealth is building systems that operate without your constant presence. Your financial block is hyper-control. You believe no one can do it as well as you. This belief limits your growth.
You chose the Eye of Crystal because your internal chaos demands structure. You are standing at a crossroads. Remain a cold observer in an ivory tower, or step down and build reality. Your superpower is clarity. In a world drowning in noise, your mind is a laser. But remember, intellect without empathy is dangerous. Structure without life is dead. Add humanity to your systems, and you become unstoppable. Your mission is to create a future that works.
We have explored 4 gazes, 4 paths, 4 fundamental forces of the human unconscious: fire, light, abyss, crystal. Perhaps one of them described you with unsettling precision. Perhaps you recognized yourself in 2. If so, you are not confused. You are in transition. The psyche does not evolve in straight lines. It moves through tension between opposites. Fire must learn structure. Crystal must learn warmth. Light must learn boundaries. The abyss must learn trust. Your dominant archetype shows your power. Your secondary archetype shows your growth edge. Right now, ask yourself one question, not a logical one, a deep one. If my strength truly lies here, why am I still living as if I am weak? This question is dangerous because once you answer it honestly, you cannot return to sleep. You may realize that your suffering is not fate, it is misused power. You may see that the life you tolerate is far smaller than the life you are built for. And if that realization stings, good. Pain is the signal that consciousness is waking up.
Thank you for having the courage to look directly into the core. If you want to go even deeper into the psychology of who you truly are, subscribe and turn on notifications. The next video will reveal something about your shadow that you have never heard before.